We need inventory. There is a severe lack of inventory specifically for multi-unit properties and investment properties that are priced realistically. It is hard to find good deals out there, Adam. I don't know about you, but it is tough. In February, heading into March, we're starting to really see that competition seep in. So I wanted to just cover some things that all of you out there need to be doing if you're analyzing and underwriting deals.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. Today, I've got Zack from Phipps, Brittain, and we're going to do the Waterloo market update. We are fired up. I'm just coming off a full freaking pitcher of French press, and I'm excited to do the deep dive into the Waterloo market because things are heating up. We just did the numbers update. The spicy ratio is feeling hot. We're looking at some serious activity here in the Waterloo market updates. Zack, let's jump into it.
It is getting spicier. And I'm double espresso, and I'm thinking I'm hitting another one after lunch. So I'm going to be fired up all day, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, I'm
So,
going to pause. Hey, time out. We haven't heard about any donuts lately.
okay, actually, so I was running through kind of like the what I wanted to do in the video today. Um, I got through it a bunch of times there yesterday, and I was like, all right, what else? So on our second slide, we're talking about kind of the market getting a little bit spicier, right? And I used a meme from Shaq from Hot Ones, the YouTube show. It's a great show. And then I was thinking, I'm a little, I like to think I'm a little creative. I was like, oh man, what a creative idea for a YouTube show and a YouTube channel. It worked out so well. And I was like, man, if I was going to do one, it would be donuts. I already know what it would be called. I already know the setup. We would just go slightly bigger donuts or slightly more complicated donuts, be full circle with Zach. It'd just be all spiritual, just all about all the
Full
donuts and all the
circle
good
with
things,
Zack.
right? Oh, dude, I already got it all planned out. But I had somebody hit me up in the DMs, a past client, an investor actually, that I met through the Canadian Real Estate Channel. He hit me up like 2 weeks ago and he was like, oh man, you tried the Zayre's donuts yet? And I was like, I'm going to stop you right there. Okay. You
Yeah,
think I haven't already
please.
tried Zayre's donuts? You're out of your mind. You're your freaking mind. Peter, bleep that out for me. This is a kid show. But after I'm done doing all the custom donuts, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do a whole series on the best grocery store donuts. You think I'm
No
sleeping on
way.
grocery store donuts? You already, oh yeah. Like, guys, I'm 3 steps ahead already. The best grocery store donut I've had in a while, though, little teaser, Farm Boy on Fairview by Fairview Park Mall, they get these donuts from a custom shop in Toronto that they get in-house.
No way.
So I'm just saying,
Dude,
the
that's
grocery store,
3D.
I'm just saying. So, but today we're going to do quick market update. You guys need to know what's going on in the spring. We did a quick little hit. So if you guys just want quick market stats, go check out the quick hit video. Our other Ontario market like experts do a great job breaking them down. So you guys want to compare apples to apples, check out that video. I'll go through them real quick here, but like you guys are here for the trends. You guys are here for the little nuggets on what we're seeing in terms of value in my market, but also what we're doing as investors to continually find value and provide that to our partners and our clients. Because that's honestly, Adam, like that's the hardest thing right now. Finding value and creating value in a market that is competitive and in an environment that is a little difficult for investors, especially with how much changes have come into the interest rate and the lending world in the last 2 years. So that's really what I want to focus on, and give you guys some simple reminders on really how to find and execute on projects. That's going to be your number one thing as an investor. So we're going to spring data. We're going to do underwriting analysis. I got some stuff on tips for adding value as well. And there's my boy Shaq. If you guys haven't already checked out the YouTube show Hot Ones, like I went through a phase when it first came out, maybe like 5, 6 years ago, where I just started watching all of them. Too funny, too funny. Market stats though, Adam. Number of listings up. We're heading into the spring market, guys. Expect more and more properties to come up. But what you guys really want to see is more listings hitting the market. You want to pair that stat with months of inventory. Because if we're getting a lot more listings hitting the market, but your months of inventory isn't increasing, that means stuff is selling. So that means there's probably competition. And that means that the median sale price will likely come up, days on market will go down, and that spicy ratio, the list to sale price ratio, is going to keep going up. So median sale price flat in February, pretty common. You expect to see a little tick up, but I don't know about you, Adam, but I think investors and everybody that's involved in the real estate market is a little desensitized to large increases and decreases month to month. You guys see a month where you're up more than 1%. That's crazy. Like historically, that's crazy. So I just want to really give people context that month to month data is good for, hey, what's happening right today? But really look at long-term trends to guide your strategies. Like this is good for if you're active in the market or you're trying to make some now decisions. This is really good information to give you context on the playground that you guys are really going into, right?
Yeah, that's a good insight. Like I think the last few years has just been so wild that people actually forget to like zoom out on the charts and like realize that some of these stats are just like completely insane. And like if you could just rewind the clock a little bit and tell somebody like, "Hey, we're going to see like years where like 30% of the like price goes up 30%." Like, okay, that's just impossible and also the most unhealthy thing I've ever heard. That's like
Yeah.
losing 30% of your body weight or gaining 30% of your body weight or something. Like it's completely absurd. Like
Yeah,
don't
like
do
that is not sustainable. And so
it. No.
in February heading into March, our markets are healthy in the sense of there is some inventory, most of it's selling for pretty fair prices, but we're starting to really see that competition seep in. Our last video, you start to see that on prices or listings that are priced super low or super unique properties or turnkey properties that are priced fairly. Well, you're seeing that still now, just a little bit more aggressively, and some of the listings that are, let's say, either less desirable or not priced quite as well, we're even starting to see competition amongst those. So months of inventory that'll tick up a little bit, but it's still under 2 months, guys. We are desperate for inventory. We don't have enough, period. Days on market, that really changed up. We went down from 20 days on average to 11 days on average. That's fast. You kind of want to see it above that 3 weeks. That means people have enough time to view properties, offer on them, look at comparable sales. We're getting back to the, hey, you see it today, you're offering on it tonight. That's where our market really is. If you guys want it, the good deals, you got to move quick. Otherwise, you're either competing or you're getting too much on price and terms, and you're probably not going to get as much of a good deal on that property.
Yeah, and like I have firsthand on this too. Like I just lost out on two different deals, one in Owen Sound, one in Meaford. So this is happening all like across generally, I would say Ontario right now, where demand is up. There is more inventory coming, but when you see those deals, like you got to, you know, you should be doing the work ahead of time, right? So aligning with your power team, being pre-qualified if you can, right? Making sure you're not buying a boat or a truck yesterday and then trying to offer tomorrow. Like, there's a bunch of stuff we should be doing now in preparation for the spring market, in preparation for more activity in general.
Yeah. Last year, you had as a buyer, investor, or as a seller, time was a little bit more on your side. You had time to make decisions. Now you got to come in ready because you have to be ready to make a decision right away. Otherwise, people like me, people like Adam, people like our teams, our clients who are ready, I'm going to beat you to the punch. And that's going to allow us to get favorable price and terms. We're here today. We're qualified. We're ready to move fast. Sellers are going to start getting more and more of that. So you got to start getting good at that, or you're going to be left in the dust. Anywhere, even like smaller markets like your Meafords, like your Owen Sounds, people that have been pushed out of my market, pushed out of the GTA that are chasing cash flow, chasing good values, they're already out looking at these smaller markets, guys. So if you don't think, do you think there's competition out there and there's not going to be here? Like I'm watching the other videos for our other team. Everywhere is starting to see competition. Your Londons, your Windsors, your Hamiltons, your North Torontos, your Barries. Like, guys, market's coming back, right? So next up, just the key trends. And this just echoes what you just said. Days on market took a steep drop. Properties are going to start moving quicker. As old inventory starts taking off, or they actually start finally selling, mostly newer inventory is going to be only the stuff on the market, and that stuff's going to sell quickly. So competition is going to get spicier. Pockets of the market that are hotter than others, freehold under 1 million. Heat. Freehold under 1 million in Waterloo region, heat. Anything turnkey that's not absurdly priced, heat. And then investment properties that are priced fairly. I cannot tell you how many multi-unit properties I see that have bullshit expenses, don't have all the information, and they want to sell it at under a 4 cap. Get out of my face. Nobody's buying a 3 cap on market unless you're offering me something really sexy that I don't know about. Nobody's buying that. No properties on market are selling below a 4 cap right now. So don't expect to sell your property below a 4 cap unless you're offering something that other people aren't, because it's just not happening. Every property that we're seeing that's selling on market is typically between a high fours and a low five cap rate. Sometimes you can get a little bit higher in Waterloo region, but that's typically what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, well, and it's just a basic understanding too that this is an exchange of value, right? People only trade their money for valuable goods, and that's just how economics and capitalism works. Like you cannot expect somebody to buy a three cap because you will be at a negative cash flow position that you cannot remedy. So like just don't. Like it just there always needs to be something in it for the person on the other side of the table. And so, the whole idea of what's in it for me being the only train of thought is not how you'll be able to sell a property in this market because people cannot rely on just magic internet money anymore where you buy the property and 3 months later it's 30% more. We're just not there.
Yeah, and people were able to take those risks when if they were confident that the market was going to keep appreciating. Now, that's not a sustainable investment strategy, and that's not
Well,
a current
it's
market
just not an
environment.
investment strategy.
Yeah, that's a guess. We're speculating, we're guessing at that point. Um, I want to just really encourage people that the good deals will go quick, and that if you're selling properties like investors, you're going to start with properties that are manageable for you that you can execute on. You're going to start with smaller deals. That's great. That's what I did. That's how I built my portfolio. But investors will shed those smaller properties and move up. I know if I'm selling some of my smaller properties, I'm probably going to sell it for a little bit less than I really want. But what I really want is a price that's no lose. No buyer is going to buy it at that price. So you have to be able to give fair value when you're selling the home. If you're not willing to give fair value, you're gonna have a real tough time getting anybody to even come view the property, let alone bring you an offer that's not insulting. So, a big thing that we do a lot, we've helped out a lot of people that have reached out to us through the Canadian Real Estate Channel, through our social media platforms, and our repeat and referral clients, is continually analyzing their portfolio and their properties as things change. Maybe they get site plan approval, maybe they get permits through, maybe they get unexpected tenant turnover, or maybe they just get another opportunity where they need the cash and it makes more sense to sell a property at a more motivating and realistic price point. Guys, it's an exchange of value. You're giving it to another investor that needs to know they can make a buck on it at least. And you're going to take your proceeds from that sale and go move it into a better investment. Guys, cut off a finger, save the body. You're just going to shed that and you're going to make more money on the next investment. So we've done a lot of work like that this year. And the people that are going to make moves this year, they're already ready to pull the trigger, whether it's getting their listing ready for market, whether they started shopping it exclusive or off market, or they're making those final touches. So come April, May, their property's ready to be listed for the best, 60 to 90 days of the market here in Waterloo region.
Yeah, I love that. That's great insight, Zach.
So now, if you guys want to stay connected with me, I fell off the last week. I was sick and then I was traveling, so I didn't get the investor hot list out last week. I do apologize. We back. I just sent the one this week. I cover exclusive listings that we have. I cover any sort of opportunities for development, partnership, any contacts that we have as well. I literally just reached out to everybody on our list and said, hey, what do you need this year to win? Because if you guys aren't making those moves now, you're not going to be able to make a move until July, June time. And by that time, the spring market's already come and gone. So if you guys want to stay connected with me, you want to see on market deals, you want to see exclusive deals, and you want to get in touch with our contacts, whether it's contracting, property management, legal, whatever, my network is available to you. Reach out through our investor hot list, phippsbrittonrealestate.com, select the investor tab, or just email me direct. Right? I'm more than happy to hop on a quick call to answer some initial questions. Or if you want to have a serious conversation about acquiring or offloading your properties in Waterloo region, let's hop on a call. Let's get together and sit down and go everything. But you need a legitimate plan if you're actually going to be making moves because this is not last year. You cannot casually look for 3 or 4 months and find a decent deal. Good deals are gone. Me and my guys are taking them before you're getting to them. So, investor hot list, get in touch with me there. Now, I did want to try and keep this video as brief as possible because I am covering some things that a lot of investors know, but I want to reiterate how important and how to be realistic for you investors out there that are running into, I would say, the same problems that I'm running into, that Adam's running into, that a lot of investors are running into, is having a real freaking hard time finding good value. It is hard to find good deals out there, Adam. I don't know about you, but it is tough. So I wanted to just cover some things that all of you out there need to be doing if you're analyzing and underwriting deals, right? I highlighted there, Adam. Run your own numbers. For the love
Yeah.
of God, run your own numbers. Look, I'll help my clients run numbers. I'll run numbers for the first couple of deals for them or with them, especially if they're not as experienced. After that, Sorry, you got to run your own freaking numbers, guys. You're making your decisions. You're going to be an investor. You will learn so much by underwriting your own deals. How they work, what really improves the value, what's realistic, what's not realistic, how expensive things really are. And you also learn very quickly that listing agents don't put all of the expenses on their listings. They also probably don't put all of their income, or they may inflate or project incomes on a property. So,
Yep.
like, guys, you got to run your own freaking numbers. You have to. And the 3 points that I kind of had for your own numbers were, don't underestimate turnover, right? A lot of investors will say, okay, well, yeah, no problem. I can pay this price for this sixplex or this tenplex, but I'm just going to turn over all the units and update them, spend 30 grand a unit to lipstick reno them, and then I'm going to fill them up and I'm going to get double the rent or an extra $1,000 a unit. Guys, you're not turning over 100% of a 10 unit or 15 or 20 unit building in a year. I'm sorry. It's not happening. It's just not realistic. You need to understand what the tenant profile is, what their average rents are, what the average rents are in your market, and also understand, like, how long have these people been here? Why are they living there? Is it realistic that you could actually negotiate with them to either increase the rents and stay there, provide more amenities or better features in their unit in exchange for increased rent, or straight up offer them cash for keys? Right? There's lots of strategies to increase the value of a property, which we're going to cover in the next couple points, Adam. But I just, I can't have investors just out there thinking you guys are going to just get vacancies and turn over a ton of units. Look, you can, but be realistic, right? And I just want to caution people that are going to go out and that's going to be their primary strategy to burr these older multi-unit buildings. Um, getting 100% vacancy, quickly turning over units is not a, let's say, and necessarily a reliable and sustainable strategy. Tenant turnover is natural. It happens. There's things you can do to increase that rate, but just, be realistic, ladies and gentlemen. Be realistic.
Yeah, and it's important to understand too that like every almost everything takes longer and more cash than you think, right? So like I see a lot of the time when people run their numbers, they forget to include like actual holding costs while they're renovating, or if they're doing a flip, they forget to include the time between when the agreement goes firm to when it closes, and not understanding that like all of your variable costs will exist that entire time. And so like I see people putting on their sheet or whatever, they put 3 months. And I'm like, you cannot close a property, renovate it, have it sold and closed within 3 months unless you are extremely experienced and you have like the perfect product placed at the perfect price point to do that. Like it's always a trade-off, right? There's no solutions, there's only trade-offs. So like you could sell that quickly, but you'll be trading off price. So it's like you just have to be aware of these types of trade-offs. I do provide a calculator for people to at least help as a baseline sort of foundation if people want to go to my website. The link's in the description below. But that you have to realize that that's only a tool, right? Your actual product is only ever as good as your experience in using the tool. Anybody can swing a hammer, but like, what are you building, right? So you have to understand your numbers, and that's why you work with Zach.
Well, and just like the be realistic piece is like, oh yeah, no, 3 months is great. So why do you only have 3 months of carrying costs? Well, 3 months is how long it's going to take to do the project. Well, how long is it going to take to sell? So, 2 to 4 weeks. It's like, okay, well, then what about closing? They're like, oh, well, 60 to 90 days is pretty common. Guys, you're at 6, 7 months there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. I
Double.
baseline put 6 months regardless of how quick I think anything's going to be. It's
Yes.
minimum six. Like,
Yes. Because it's always
because
going to be more
we're
expensive. It's always going to take longer.
always. And the thing is, worst case,
Always.
guys, worst case, you finish faster and you're wrong on your sheet by like a month. And like,
So you save
great, you
yourself a
saved,
month of carrying costs. Good for
yeah.
you. That'll
you
cover for the
know,
discrepancies you made in the renovation budget. Don't
yeah,
worry.
don't worry. You
So
already screwed that up on your
yeah,
drywall
you're
because you
not.
forgot that
Yeah,
you forgot the mud.
you're from the mud. So I just think like I think that's such just a good segue is like guys thinking about this in the investments that you're trying to make or you want to make in a vacuum is good on paper. But the reality of things are is unless this is what you do full time, it's going to be more expensive and it's going to take longer than you want. Even if you work with people like me and my team and Adam and his team, like there are too many variables that go into investing in real estate, especially when you're trying to make short-term moves like flips or burrs, that there's too many things that are happening with too many people involved. Something is bound to go wrong. So just go into it with the understanding of that and go into it with the attitude of like, I am literally just here to solve problems. All investing is just solving
Yeah.
problems. So if you come into that mindset, a problem comes up, It's just a task. That's just something else you got to check off the list. You got to think about it, figure out how to do it as best and as quickly as possible, make a decision, on to the next problem. And so it is just being realistic. And I just keep on getting people that are very unrealistic about tenant turnover that I had to just address that. And I just want people to start thinking very critically about that. The other two are very straightforward. Insurance and maintenance costs. Guys, I can't tell you how many times I've requested numbers from agents or private sellers that just have insurance numbers that are they're fine. That's probably their numbers. They've had the building for 20 years. They've had maintenance contracts with the same neighbor Joe around the corner that's doing it because he's retired and he's got free time.
Yeah.
Nobody is shoveling a 12 unit property for $100 a month. I'm sorry, they're not doing it anymore. Right? If they have no maintenance costs in
Oh
there because they
no.
just do it themselves, guys, you're going to either be the one that's going to be out there shoveling the snow or cutting the grass or taking care of the leaves and taking care of the garbage, or you're paying somebody hundreds of dollars a month to do it. Right? So let's just be
Absolutely.
realistic about the cost and assume that the real numbers, you're going to have to come up with the majority of them on your own based on people like me, your own experience, what the sellers or the seller agent is giving you. Take it with a grain of salt, but also just understanding that if you independently come up with your own numbers and you're consistently underwriting deals, you will get much better at it. And this will help you identify real value. So you're not wasting your time looking at properties and chasing deals that aren't going to be good buys, right?
Yep.
Last but not least, Adam, though, too, property management. Oh, the seller manages it themselves. Oh, so I just don't have to account for that expense? Guys, most property management is going to be at least 5 to 8%.
Oh yeah.
At least. Run it at
Yeah.
10, right?
Minimum five.
Right? So a big value and also just understand like maintenance costs, sometimes people will have them as a percentage of the rental income. Well, I don't really like that because a a 70, 80-year-old building is likely getting less rent, but going to need way more maintenance, as opposed to a
Yep.
brand new building that's getting way more rent and need way less maintenance. So rule of thumb, typically 750 to 1,000 a year just for normal shit in each apartment. You're buying, 12 unit purpose built 2 bedroom units, $1,000 a month if it's older than 30 years. Right, guys? That's a plumbing fixture. That's a new toilet. That's a new countertop. That's a new light. That's a new door handle. Right? There you go. Some years you'll do absolutely nothing. Other years, tenant slips and falls and breaks the vanity and smashes the toilet. Shit, I'm doing a whole bathroom reno that's going to cost me 4 or 5 grand now. There you go. Right? So it's just to be very clear, the more often you run these numbers, the more questions you ask, the more accurate numbers you'll get, the better deals you're going to find. Right? So,
Yeah, and you can tailor your tools to better suit this too. Like my calculator has like a pre-renovation and a post-renovation on the BRRRR side of it, so that you kind of have an understanding of like as I'm renovating an older building, but the further into the renovation I go, the more I'm going to address the deferred maintenance and it'll reduce these types of costs. And like, again, like it never actually works out perfectly in your plan anyways, but it is worth thinking about that. Like if I've got an older building, like there's a chance, right? That like the
yeah,
furnace could go, or I don't know anything about the hot water heaters or the boiler system or the roof, or like there's stuff like that that are actually fairly substantial costs that can come up. Like I just had this a surprise hot water heater the other day, and I also realized hot water heaters are quite the industry these days.
yeah.
But there's stuff like that on older buildings that you should be realistic about. I think that's the key word here.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said too, is like Adam's already made his own calculators because he has done the types of deals that he wants to do enough times where he can build out the calculator so that he can get through it and analyze the deal quickly. I've used a ton of templates from different types of investors for different types of deals to kind of get a better idea on how they look at specific things and how they're running their numbers. But if you guys are looking to make this a real thing, making your own calculators, making your own auto spreadsheets after you have a little bit of experience running different numbers with different templates or calculators is a great idea. If you're not,
Yep.
you know, Excel savvy, that's fine. Like you can make dumb, simple calculators. You can do most of it on your iPhone calculator if you really wanted to as well. But having a preset so you can go through quick in 5 minutes, it's going to save you so much time because you guys are going to have to look at dozens of deals before you find a good one, straight up. So one of
Yep.
the big value adds for us though, Adam, is the property management. Big reason why clients work with us or partners partner with us on deals is they know people that have experience managing difficult tenants, managing old properties, new properties, and transition properties. They're going to be able to execute. Finding a good deal is one thing. Being able to execute and manage a deal consistently, whole different ballgame. Whole different ballgame. So being able to offer property management at an affordable cost, but making sure that we manage our properties well, huge value add for our partners and coaching our clients on their smaller deals, their duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, what forms to go through, how to handle specific situations, when to hop on that phone call or go meet them in person or consult legal. That's a huge, huge thing for people that don't have any experience in this world, because managing a property will make or break the investment for you. And we want to make sure we set up people for success. It is tricky, but big value if you guys can do it well, right? I want to plow through this part pretty quick though, because I want to make deals sexy again. But I'm not reinventing the wheel, Adam. I'm not. I want to just highlight high level some key things that you really need to consider as an investor, especially if you're really finding a hard time finding good value and good deals, is just consider the key variables that go into a deal and consider what ways can you improve those key variables or what ways can those variables really hurt you and burn the profitability of the project. Carrying costs, you just talked about it, Adam, right? What's ways to reduce carrying costs? Put more money down or get better lending, right? Then your monthly's not going to be as high, straight up. Now, most people don't want to put more money down, or most people can't get great lending. So, other ways to make deals sexy, manage it yourself. Don't pay somebody to manage the project yourself. Maybe you're the general contractor, maybe you're the property manager. Maybe you dedicate more time and energy into doing the work yourself. Man, I am a desk jockey. Look at these soft desk hands. My first project, the cat tea house, your boy's in there doing all the labor I possibly can because I can't afford to freaking pay somebody to do it. So you know what? I'm putting the old work boots on. I'm going in after work. I'm going in on my day off. I'm going in on the weekends to do as much shit as I can because my time I have. The skills I don't, the money I don't, but I got to figure it out. So I want people to just really consider the key variables and like keep it basic. If you can't get really good financing and you can't put more down, but you still love the deal, all right, you're doing more of the labor, or you're calling more people for quotes instead of hiring a general contractor, or
Yep.
you're finding another partner so that you can get better financing options, right? You have to understand what your value is and what your goal with the property, and find other people or other tools to replace the value you can't bring. It's just problem solving. And then
Problems or profits, Zach.
problems are profits, baby. I like profits, so I am willing to solve problems. I will fix the
That's
problems.
right.
I like money. I want more money. Give me the profits. So you also just, guys, just do it faster, do it cheaper, or both.
You know what? The do
Sounds
it
crazy.
faster thing is actually shockingly relevant. It is
Yes.
unbelievable how much I personally have dragged projects on. And I mean drag. And the problem is you approach most projects and most problems in life with like this intense ferocity at the start. And then your interest and your enthusiasm wanes as the project goes on. And you have this tendency to want to stall as you're getting close to the finish line because all those little details are the things that suck the most and they're less
Oh,
visually rewarding, but they're literally the only things that matter. Like actually buttoning up the project is the most important part of the project and it's where you have the least enthusiasm and it leads to people dragging shit on and all that does is increase your variable cost and it increases the chance that you are going to sit on market longer or at a worse timing. So just send it like full send, full commit.
yeah. And the doing it quicker is probably easier than just getting it cheaper, in my opinion. And a lot of that
Yes.
is staying on top of your team and being willing to fill the gaps. Right? Okay,
Yeah.
somebody had to push a couple days. Okay, can I find somebody else that can come in tonight, tomorrow morning? Do I go in and do it? Delivery is going to be late. All right, can I send a guy to go get it now? Can I go get it now? Like, don't let a day here, a day there, an afternoon there. Guys, that stacks up. That pushes your other trades, that pushes your other contractors. All of a sudden, they got to go to another job. No, 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 no. What can I do to solve the problem right now? And you're absolutely right. Like, first one we did, I moved in and it was 90% done. It was 90% done when I moved out.
Yeah.
Like, never bring it home. That last 20%, that last 10%, head down. That's where you're making your money. That's when you can get the product up on the market quicker. That's when you get tenants in filled. So your carrying costs are starting to get covered. You start bringing in that cash flow. Huge, huge, huge. And I think it's just, as investors, if you guys are watching this video, guys and girls are watching this video, is just clearly understand your goal and your value as an investor. You're not going to be able to do everything. You're not. It doesn't make sense for you to do everything for most deals. So understanding truly what you can bring to the table and what you'll be good at and be happy to do and have the energy to do, look, you do the first couple of deals, you're gonna do a little bit of everything. That's true. But as you proceed and as you grow a little bit as an investor, truly identifying like, hey, am I just really good at analyzing the deals and finding agents and finding wholesalers and making those connections and getting my hands on deals? Okay, well, if you're really good at that, then, maybe you're not really good at renovations because you can analyze deals, you can have those conversations, but the idea of spending your evenings and your weekends physically doing labor that you're not going to be good at, like myself, this is not going to be a value for you. So I think just thinking critically about yourself and what you're going to bring to the table as an investor, don't sleep on how important that is. That will allow you to be much more efficient and build a much more sustainable investment, whether it's just one property or one goal and you want to do 10. Yeah, it'll make the finished product more profitable. You'll be happier about it, and honestly, your results will just be better. So, I just want to challenge people if they're watching that, just to like think critically about yourself and what you're bringing to the table. It'll help you in the long run for sure. All right, let's bring this home. We're going to talk reality of raising value. Um, let's not sleep on lipstick renos. Let's not sleep on cosmetic updates. They offer great value if you can manage your costs. All I'm going to say is don't over renovate your property. If you guys are investors, these are rental properties. You are renting them to people that want good value. These most of the rentals, most of you investors out there, you're not doing custom luxury rentals. I'm sorry, you're not. But most of you investors out there, we want clean, simple, durable properties. We don't need the fancy bells and whistles. You don't want to go super cheap either because then it's going to get destroyed. Your tenants are going to be pissed and you're going to have to redo it anyway. So you guys need reliable, durable products that are installed and put in the property well, not like a donkey, and that's it. You can get great ROI if you do it on time. Don't let the unit stay vacant. Wait for your contractor to come do it, and then they take an extra month. Now it's vacant for 3 months. 30 days or less, guys. Like we're doing a bathroom, a kitchen, floors, trim, paint on a 1 unit or a 2 unit in an apartment building. Come on, come on. 30 days in and out. And as the renovation's finishing up, you start showing it so people can move in right after it's done. Come on, we're not wasting time here, Adam. Next, just add more units. There is a ton of opportunity in markets like Waterloo region and a lot of other municipalities that are around that, 300 to 600,000 people size. Your Barries, your Peterboroughs, your Hamilton surrounding areas, even out towards Kingston, we're hearing your Londons, your Windsors, your St. Catharines. They're putting their hands up being like, shit, we need more units. They're really starting to open up the doors. Waterloo region is fairly ahead of the curve, specifically Kitchener, honestly, in saying like, oh shit, we're willing to work with people to figure out can we put more units on existing properties because there isn't enough new build properties, and most of the new build properties are not purpose built rentals. So municipalities and the Ontario government is realizing this and saying, well, shit, if for-profit developers and builders aren't building purpose-built rentals because they can't make good money in it, how else can we bring more supply to the market? So adding a unit in your rear yard, adding an addition to your house or your duplex or your triplex. There's in our market specifically, Adam, purpose-built 3 to 8 unit properties on fat lots. I can buy a multi-unit that can break even or be cash flow positive with 30 to 40% down, and then I can go slap up 6 or 8 units on that lot that are brand new. Then I roll that into some CMHC financing on the exit. Oh, baby, I'm looking at some sexy numbers for these deals. So don't sleep on adding a couple more units. And then last but not least, adding new features like your laundry, dishwasher, storage that you're charging extra for because people are 2 kids crammed in a 2 bedroom apartment and they have no storage. Guys, a storage locker for a couple $100 or garage spaces for extra parking if they got a hobby car. They just need a place to put all the kids' bikes and the hockey gear. Like those are small little things that are going to add a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, will do wonders for your cap rate, will do wonders for your cash on cash return. And especially if you're positioning a property to either hold for another 5 or 10 years or sell in the short term, you can pitch those as recent value adds that have increased the income and you can get a little bit more money on the sale for these types of things. So, last but not least, too, this doesn't raise the value of the property. These aren't things that you're specifically doing to like add value to the property right now, but exiting or transitioning into better financing, when you're adding new features or where you're adding more units, then you can look at getting into a product like a CMHC on the exit where you can get better amortizations and you can get more leverage, and that will dramatically improve the cash flow on your properties or give you a fat refinance so you can recoup a lot of the money that you just dropped into the property. So don't sleep on how powerful longer amortizations, higher leverage, and better rates really can be for a project. A lot of investors are starting to add new units to existing properties or do small to medium size infill and redevelopment projects because the exit into that CMHC financing is just so sexy. So we've been getting a lot of questions on that. A lot of investors that are kind of getting tired of dealing with existing tenants or can't find value kind of under that 2 million range here in Waterloo region. And some of them are starting to go towards those newer products because the financing is sexy and you get brand new units. So there's a lot of pros to them, guys. I did want to just not drag the video on. I did want to kind of end it up pretty quick here, though, Adam, was we need inventory. There is a severe lack of inventory specifically for multi-unit properties and investment properties that are priced realistically. I have two schools of people right now in the market. I got people that want yesterday's price. They're asking way too much money. They're not selling. And then everybody else, they're moving. There is a demand in our market for multi-unit and investment properties. If you have a piece of land that you think is a tear down, if you have a vacant lot, you have a small house on a big lot, you have a multi-unit that you've had for a couple of years that you got a bunch of equity in, could be able to take advantage of a good market this year. And honestly, a big conversation we've had with a lot of people is like, what are you going to do with the funds afterwards? Are you rolling into a bigger project? Get those
Yeah.
plans in place so that when the market is there for your property and your product, you already got it ready to go. Right? I'm here, I'm an investor. I'm here to help my clients make money. If they want to sell and cash out, great. Let's maximize what we can get for this property. But if they're rolling it into something else, let's make a plan for that so that we can make that as a smooth transition. Because if you got dead money sitting in your account or you got a bunch of equity and you're not taking advantage of that, you may be able to get a much, much sexier return either in a different product, repositioning it, or taking on a new project. So if you guys have inventory, you want to discuss either shopping it exclusive, getting it ready for market, the best way to sell it, how to improve the value. Those are conversations we're having every day. Lots of people from the Canadian Real Estate Channel have reached out with great questions. We'd love to connect. So send me an email at the address right there. We can get started.
Awesome. I love that, Zach. Well, thank you so much for today's market update. I really appreciate it. I think we can summarize it. It's really manage expectations, be realistic, and have a plan so that you can take massive action. And I think that's really a great
Phone.
message to deliver. Pick up the phone, right?
Pick up
And
the
heading into
phone.
the spring market, it's going to be so important. So again, Zach, thank you very much. And guys, make sure you get on that investor hot list. I think that's one of the best things that we bring to the channel is investors and professionals like Zach who actually have a ton of experience. They have a ton of connections and they're bringing you the resources you need to actually be successful in these markets. So Zach, thank you very much. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you get subscribed because we're back here every single month with a deep dive and the market stats for you to consume. So we'll be right back with that next month.
See you next month, guys. Thanks, Adam. Take care, guys.
Cheers.